I want to spend a few minutes discussing Creative Commons. As many of you are putting together an e-portfolio, I'd like to speak today within the context of creating an e-portfolio, one that will be published online and one that can be seen by anyone. So you're likely to be finding pictures online. You may find some lesson plans that you either adapt or that you are sharing, that you're using. So I want to talk about Creative Commons and how to use information that you find online if you're going to redistribute that into your own e-portfolio. So Creative Commons, this website here that I'm sharing, I would encourage you first to take a look at this video in the main page, and if you click on share your work, there's another video towards the bottom that I would encourage you to take a look at. It kind of gives you an overview of what Creative Commons is. But basically, Creative Commons is a way to license work that it gives other people the right to use that work without having to get permission. All right, so if you see any work, whether it's a photo, again, a lesson plan, any type of resource, any type of information that you find online, if it's under a Creative Commons license, you can be assured that you can use that, again, for your own use, whether that's for your own e-portfolio or classroom work, etc. So looking here at the main page, if you click on share your work towards the bottom and click on getting started, gives you kind of an option to choose different types of licenses, because there are different variations of Creative Commons license that the author can use. And what I'd like to do is kind of show you the different types of icons that are typically associated with the different types of Creative Commons license. So if you'll see here, there are basically two questions that prompt you to decide what type of Creative Commons license that you want to use. The first question is, allow adaptations of your work to be shared. So when the author's creating a work, they can decide whether or not others need to use that resource in its exact form, or if they can make derivatives or variations of that work. So if they select yes, then basically they're saying that others can actually adapt it, modify it, change it however they wish. They're giving the others the right to do that. The second question relates to commercial use. So allow commercial uses of your work. So that can either be yes or no. So can others use it for commercial purposes? Can they make money off of that resource? Or if you want to limit that and say, no one else can make money off my work, then you would select this option. Now, what I'm showing you here is both from the standpoint of you creating work and also you finding other resources online that give you the rights to do this. So for example, if you come across a picture or an image with this type of license, then that would mean that you can't make money off of that image in this case. But take a look at the different icons. So if I select no to commercial use, this is the icon that is associated with a non-commercial use. If I select yes, then typically this icon goes away. These are the two icons that are associated with this type of license. And by the way, this is the most open type of Creative Commons license, where you allow adaptations and it could be used for commercial use. If I select no to this first question, you'll notice this icon, and this basically means, again, that others need to use that resource in its exact form, that there should be no modifications to that resource. If it's a picture, you're not allowed to make modifications. You can use it, but you can't change it in any way. And if this is for non-commercial use, then these would be the icons associated with this type of license. With each of these types of licenses, you'll notice there's a link here, and this will open up another box, a dialog box here, that shows you more information about each of the Creative Commons license. So you can read in detail which each of these mean. If I select this option, I can click on this link, and it goes into detail again as to how others can use the work. So Creative Commons license, the only thing you need to remember is anytime you use any type of work that falls under a Creative Commons license, is that you need to pay attribution. That is, you need to give credit. And typically, just by providing a link back to where you found the information, this will be enough. There are times where some authors will actually state on the near the source someplace how they would like others to pay attribution. And if that is the case, just follow what they are requesting. Sometimes they want to include their name beyond the link, but most of the time, especially when we're talking about images or photos, just including the link will be enough to pay attribution. But you must pay attribution. You don't need permission, but you need to give credit as to where you found the works. Otherwise, it's like plagiarism. It would be as if you were creating that, or as if you created that work yourself. So you always need to pay attribution, and again, most of the time in the form of a link or a hypertext back to the source. Another thing I'd like to mention, beyond the Creative Commons license, sometimes you'll come across images or other resources that are under the public domain option. And public domain simply means, again, you can use it however you wish, but you do not have to pay attribution. So you're free to use it, modify it however you wish, and there is no need to provide a link back to the source. It's under a public domain. That means that you're free to use it. It's really the most liberal, most open license available, basically. So Creative Commons and public domain. Anytime you share any information in your e-portfolio, you need to make sure that you are familiar with these types of or these licenses, these open licenses. And talking about pictures or making or including pictures in your e-portfolios, if you are including those that include friends and family, I would make sure first that you have their permission to share that in your e-portfolio. Remember, your e-portfolio is going to be a public document. Anyone can see it. So you need to be very careful about the images that you create, that you take, that you want to include in your e-portfolio. So I would say, as a general rule, my suggestion would be to typically avoid images of family and friends unless it's really pertaining to a particular artifact that is showing off your professional development. If you really feel that it's necessary, that's okay, just as long as you get permission, and that there's an understanding that if at any point in the future they want that picture removed, that you're open to do that. Again, as a general rule, I would try to veer away from those types of images. But if you take pictures of, I don't know, some sort of scenery, maybe some sort of, a tree or something that you're taking, feel free to use that. And I would upload it someplace and also assign a license to it. So when you're creating your own work, make sure that you're assigning the appropriate Creative Commons licenses as well. This is open, of course, to anyone. Anyone can assign these licenses, and others will need to respect that type of license. One thing I forgot to mention, and again, looking at the different types of licenses here, there's a third option under this first question, and this pertains to what's called a share alike option. And this is the icon here down at the bottom. All this means is others are free to use the work as long as they assign the same license that you assigned it. That is, they can't change the license. So if, for example, if I say yes, others can adapt my work and it's under commercial license and it's a share alike, that means others cannot change this license. They can't change it to a non-commercial use, for example, or they can't change it to a non-derivative type of license, because this is a share alike and they are required to respect the same license. Now, if you're back to this option and someone else uses this work, they have the freedom to change this license to a non-commercial work if they want to, because you didn't share it as a share, you didn't issue a share alike license. So if you have any questions about these types of Creative Commons license, we can talk about it in class. Of course, you can come and see me or send me an email. If in doubt, just ask. But I think it's a good idea to become a little bit familiar with Creative Commons license. And again, in our class, since it's part of our course, creating this e-portfolio, I'll be working with you and trying to guide you as to the artifacts that you are sharing and making sure that you have the legal right to share this type of information. So I hope this helps. Again, if you have any questions, send me an email, ask me in class, come by my office.